The strange plea hook the night was cold, and the small town was almost silent. Only the sound of the wind moved through the empty streets. Inside a small house, Dr. James Carter sat at his desk. His desk lamp gave off a soft yellow glow. But the rest of the room was dark. Papers and old books were spread in front of him. He was tired, but he kept reading. He had no family left, and his work was all he had. For years, he had studied strange diseases and conditions no one else could explain. Just as he closed his book, he heard something. A faint knock on the door. At first, he ignored it. Maybe it was the wind, he thought. But then the knock came again, louder this time. Dr. Carter frowned. Who would visit him so late? He stood up and walked to the door. The old wooden floor creaked under his feet. He slowly opened the door, and what he saw made his heart stop for a moment. There, standing in the rain, was a child. But this child was not human. The child's skin was pale, almost silver, and it shone slightly in the dim light. His large eyes glowed with a soft blue color. He wore no shoes, and his thin arms were shaking from the cold. He looked fragile, like he could fall at any moment. But the strangest part was not his appearance. It was his voice. "Please," the child whispered, his voice trembling. "Please fix my mom. She won't stop shaking." Dr. Carter stared at him, unable to move. His mind was racing. An alien child. Was this a dream, or had he finally gone mad from years of loneliness? He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. The child took a step closer, tears shining in his glowing eyes. "You're human. Only you can help. Please, she's dying." The doctor felt a shiver run down his spine. The night suddenly felt colder. He wanted to shut the door, to lock it, to pretend he had seen nothing. But something deep inside him stopped him. The child's voice carried a pain so real, so desperate, that he could not ignore it. Who are you?" the doctor finally asked, his voice low and shaky. "My name doesn't matter," the child said quickly. "My mom needs you. She is very sick. She won't stop shaking. Please, if you don't come, she will die." The doctor rubbed his eyes. He could not believe this was happening. But when he looked again, the child was still there, standing in the rain, crying. This was no dream. His heart began to beat faster. Questions filled his mind. Where did the child come from? How did he know the doctor? And why, of all people, did he ask him for help? "Listen," the doctor said carefully. "I don't even know what you are. I don't know what you want from me." The child suddenly grabbed his hand. His small fingers were ice cold. "You are the only one. My mom said a human can save her. Please, please don't let her die." Dr. Carter's breath caught in his throat. The child's touch felt real, alive, not an illusion. He pulled his hand back quickly, but the feeling stayed. His mind told him to close the door and walk away. This was madness. But his heart told him something else. The child was in pain. A real deep pain that no child, human or alien, should carry alone. He stepped back and let the child inside. The boy's glowing eyes looked around the small house, curious and sad at the same time. "Where is your mother?" the doctor asked, his voice softer now. The child shook his head. "Not here. I hid her. It's not safe, but I can take you. Please, come with me. There isn't much time." The doctor's hands trembled. His mind screamed at him, "Don't go. This could be a trap. You don't know what you're walking into." But then he looked at the boy again. The child's tears were real. His fear was real. And his plea was real. Dr. Carter took a deep breath. "If I go with you, to promise I will not be harmed." The boy nodded quickly. "I promise. I just need you to save her. You are her only chance." The words sent another chill through the doctor. Why him? Why a human? Something about this was bigger than he could imagine. The child reached out his small hand again. "Come, please." Dr. Carter stared at the hand. This was the moment. If he took it, his life would never be the same. If he refused, the child's mother might die. His heart pounded like a drum in his chest. Finally, slowly, he placed his hand in the child's. The boy's face lit with relief. "Thank you," he whispered. "You are her lifeline." The doctor swallowed hard. He didn't know what was waiting for him out there in the dark. But he knew one thing for sure. His quiet, lonely life was over. Outside, the wind howled louder. The night seemed to close in around them, and as the child pulled him into the darkness, Dr. Carter felt the weight of a mystery that was only just beginning. The alien child's secret. Night stretched endlessly as Dr. Carter followed the strange boy through the wet streets. The child's small hand was cold, but his grip was strong. His glowing eyes cut through the darkness like lanterns guiding the way. Carter's heart pounded. He could not believe what he was doing. Just minutes ago, he was a lonely man in his study. Now he was following a child, not a child, an alien child, into the unknown. Every step made him question his sanity. Finally, Carter spoke, his voice low but firm. "Where are we going?" The boy glanced back, but did not stop walking. "To my mother. She is hidden." "Hidden where?" Carter asked. The child hesitated. "If I tell you now, you will not believe me. Please, just trust me." The words made Carter uneasy. Trust. Why should he trust a being that wasn't even human? But when he looked at the boy's trembling frame soaked in rain, he saw more than an alien. He saw a child carrying a weight far too heavy for his small shoulders. They left the streets behind and entered the forest. The trees loomed tall, their branches twisting like claws. The night air grew colder. Carter's breath turned white in front of him. He wanted to stop, but the boy pulled harder. "Wait," Carter said, pulling back slightly. "Why me?" "There are hospitals, doctors." The boy shook his head quickly. "No hospital can help her. They would only fear us. My mother told me long ago, if this day came, only a human heart could save her. Not machines, not alien medicine. A human." Carter froze. A human heart. The phrase struck him like a blade. What did that mean? Did it mean surgery? Blood? Or something else entirely? "What do you mean, a human heart?" he asked. The boy stopped, his glowing eyes reflecting the moonlight. "My mother told me that once, long ago, she was saved by a human. She said humans carry something special inside them, something our kind does not. It is not only blood, it is not only flesh, it is life force." Carter felt his chest tighten. Life force. This sounded like myth, not science. But the boy's serious tone made it clear he was not lying. Before Carter could ask more, the boy continued walking. They moved deeper into the woods until they reached a clearing. The child raised his hand, and suddenly the ground beneath them shifted. Carter stumbled back as a hidden panel of earth slid open, revealing a staircase glowing faintly with blue light. His jaw dropped. Beneath the forest floor was an entrance to something not of this world. The boy stepped onto the stairs and looked back. "Please, come. She's down here. You'll see." Carter's body screamed at him to run. This was madness. He should not go underground into some alien place. But the boy's eyes, so desperate, so full of hope, held him still. Against every instinct, he followed. The staircase descended into a tunnel made of smooth metallic walls that pulsed with faint energy. Strange symbols glowed along the sides, shifting like living text. The air was warmer here, buzzing with quiet. Vibrations. Carter whispered. What is this place? The boy answered softly. Our refuge. My people came here long ago. We do not live on the surface. It is not safe. They reached the bottom, where a large chamber opened before them. Machines hummed, their designs far beyond human understanding. In the center of the room stood a large pod covered in translucent crystal. Inside, a figure lay trembling. The boy's eyes filled with tears. He rushed to the pod. Mother. Carter's breath caught. The alien woman inside was both strange and familiar. Her skin was pale like the boy's, glowing faintly, but her features held something soft, something almost human. Her body shook violently, as if the forces inside her were fighting for control. Is that your mother? Carter asked carefully. The boy nodded, pressing his small hands against the crystal. Yes, she has been like this for days. Her body cannot hold together, she said. Only you can help. Carter stepped closer, his eyes scanning the strange pod. He was no stranger to sickness, but this was unlike anything he had ever seen. The woman's body flickered, her shape shifting between alien and something closer to human. One moment her hands had 3 long fingers. The next, they had 5 like his own. His mind raced. She's unstable. Her DNA is tearing itself apart. Why me? Carter whispered, almost to himself. Why not your own kind? The boy turned, his voice breaking. Because she is not only alien, she carries human blood. That is why she shakes. That is why she suffers, and only a human can give her balance again. Carter's mouth went dry. A half-human alien. Was that even possible? And if it was true, then who was the human that once loved this woman? The boy stepped forward, grabbing Carter's sleeve with trembling fingers. You are her last hope. If you don't try, she will die. Carter felt the weight of those words crash down on him. He was just a doctor, a man who lived alone with his books. He had never asked for this, but somehow, fate or something stranger had chosen him. His eyes returned to the shaking woman. Her face twisted in pain, her lips moving silently, as if calling for someone who could not hear. Carter swallowed hard. He wanted to run. He wanted to escape this nightmare. But as the boy's tear-filled eyes met his, he knew he could not walk away. He placed a trembling hand against the crystal surface of the pod. Warmth surged through his skin. For a moment, he thought he felt her heartbeat echo against his palm. The boy whispered, "You see, she responds to you." Carter pulled his hand back quickly, his mind spinning. This was real. Terrifying, but real and somewhere deep. Inside, a truth began to form. His life had never truly been his own. Something greater had been waiting for him all along. The boy's voice cut through the silence. You are her lifeline. Carter's breath shook. He did not know what lay ahead. But he knew one thing for certain. He had stepped into a secret that could change not just one life, but the future of both worlds. Entering the unknown, Dr. Carter stood frozen in front of the strange pod, his hands still tingling from the warmth he had felt. His mind was torn in two. Half of him wanted to run back to the surface, pretend none of this ever happened. The other half whispered that something extraordinary was happening, something bigger than himself, something he could not turn away from. The boy's glowing eyes watched him carefully. You felt it, didn't you? The child asked softly. Carter nodded slowly. Yes, I felt something. Like her heartbeat was calling to me. She knows you're here, the boy said. She knows you can help. Carter swallowed hard. His life had always been about questions, about science, about finding answers where others gave up. But this was beyond all reason. This was a secret hidden under the very earth, one he never dreamed existed. "Come," the boy said, pulling gently at his sleeve. "There's more you need to see." Carter hesitated, looking back at the pod. The woman's body continued to shake, as if trapped between two worlds. A part of him felt guilty leaving her side. But curiosity pushed him forward. The child led him down a corridor that stretched deeper underground. The walls were metallic, yet alive somehow, pulsing with faint light like veins carrying energy. Strange symbols shifted and moved across the surfaces, glowing and fading as they passed. "What is this place?" Carter whispered. The boy looked up at him. "A sanctuary. A place where my people hide from humans." Carter frowned. "Hide from us? Why?" "Because you fear what you don't understand," the boy replied simply. "And fear makes humans dangerous." The words cut deep. Carter wanted to argue, to say that not all humans were like that. But then he remembered wars, cruelty, and even his own loneliness. Maybe the child was right. They entered a larger chamber, and Carter stopped dead in his tracks. Before him stretched a massive underground hall filled with strange machines, glowing orbs and crystal-like structures that seemed to grow from the floor and ceiling. Some pulsed with a heartbeat-like rhythm. Others floated in midair, humming softly. Carter's breath caught. He had spent his life studying science, but this was beyond science. It was something else, something that blurred the line between technology and life itself. The boy turned to him. "This is our heart. It keeps us alive down here. Without it, we could not exist so close to your world." Carter slowly walked forward, his eyes wide. This is impossible." "Not impossible," the boy said quietly. "Just hidden." Carter reached out, his fingers hovering near one of the glowing crystals. It gave off a warmth, almost like a living creature. But before he could touch it, the boy grabbed his wrist. "Don't," the child warned. "These are alive in their own way. They can sense you. If they don't trust you, they might burn you." Carter pulled back quickly, his heart racing. He stared at the child. "Why bring me here? Why show me this?" The boy lowered his head. "Because you must understand. My people, we are not like you. But my mother, she is different. She carries your blood inside her. That is why she suffers. That is why she is caught between two worlds. And that is why only you can help her." The weight of the words pressed down on Carter. Only you can help her. It sounded less like hope and more like destiny. "But how?" he asked, his voice barely more than a whisper. "I am only a man. I don't have powers. I don't have your technology. How can I help?" The boy looked up at him with eyes that glowed brighter than before. "Because it is not about power. It is about choice. You can walk away, or you can stay and save her." Carter opened his mouth to answer, but before he could, the ground beneath them shook violently. A deep rumble echoed through the chamber. The glowing crystals flared with light, and the humming machines grew louder. The boy gasped. "They found us." Carter's blood ran cold. "Who found you?" The child's face darkened. "Hunters. Not all of my people want peace with humans. Some believe humans should never touch our kind. They think my mother's sickness is a punishment, and they want her to die." Carter's stomach twisted. "And me. They will want you dead too," the boy said, without hesitation. Panic surged through Carter. He was just a man, a doctor, with no weapon, no protection. He had walked blindly into a war he didn't even know existed. "Run," the boy said urgently. "We must get back to her before they come." They turned and ran back down the corridor, the metallic walls shaking. As the rumble grew louder, Carter's lungs burned, his heart pounding in his chest. As they reached the chamber with the pod, Carter saw shadows moving at the far entrance. Figures with glowing eyes, taller and darker than the boy, stepping into the light. The boy rushed to his mother's side, pressing his small hands against the crystal pod. "We don't have time," he cried. "You must help her now." Carter's hands shook as he stepped forward. The alien woman's body convulsed violently, her form flickering between alien and human. Her lips moved soundlessly, but Carter thought he heard a whisper in his mind. A single word: help. Behind him, footsteps echoed closer. The hunters were coming. Carter pressed his hand to the crystal once more. Warmth surged into him, stronger than before. His vision blurred, his chest tightened, and for the first time in years, he felt something powerful stirring inside him. The boy's voice rang out, desperate and pleading. "Do it now. You are her lifeline." And in that moment, Dr. Carter realized there was no turning back. He had stepped into the unknown. And whatever happened next would change him forever. The mother's condition, doctor. Carter pressed his palm against the crystal pod. Heat surged through his skin, rushing into his veins like fire. The alien woman inside twitched violently, her body flickering between alien form and something closer to human. Her eyes fluttered open for only a second, and Carter felt her gaze pierce into him. It wasn't just a look, it was a silent plea. The boy clung to Carter's arm. "She feels you. Don't let go." But Carter's hand trembled. His mind screamed at him. This isn't natural. This isn't science. He had always believed in facts, in proof, in reason. Yet here he was, standing in front of a living being whose very existence defied all three. Behind them, the rumble of footsteps grew louder. The hunters were close now, their voices echoing in a strange alien tongue. Shadows shifted across the chamber walls. Carter's throat tightened. Time was running out. He looked at the boy. "If I help her, what happens?" To me, the boy's glowing eyes filled with tears. "I don't know. But if you don't, she will die." Carter turned back to the pod. The woman's body convulsed again, her form splitting half silver-skinned alien, half human-like, fragile and broken. Her shaking grew worse, as if her body could not decide which world it belonged to. The doctor leaned closer, whispering almost to himself, "Her cells. They're unstable. It's like two blueprints fighting inside her. One alien, one human." The boy nodded quickly. "Yes, that's why she is in pain. She cannot survive in one world alone. She needs balance." "But why me?" Carter asked. "Why not another human? Why not her own kind?" The boy shook his head. "Because her bond was with a human. Long ago, that connection lives in her still. And you," he stopped, his voice cracking, "you carry the same presence." Carter's chest tightened. "What do you mean?" Before the boy could answer, the woman's body arched violently. A scream echoed not from her mouth, but inside Carter's head. It was raw, desperate, and filled with pain. His knees almost buckled. Under the weight of it, the boy cried out, banging his small fists against the crystal. "Please. She can't hold on much longer." Carter felt panic rising in his chest. He was only a doctor, a man who treated broken bones and sick patients. He was no hero. He wasn't meant to stand between life and death for a creature from another world. Yet, as he looked at the alien mother's face, her human-like features twisting in agony, he knew he couldn't turn away. He pressed both hands to the pod. The crystal pulsed, responding to his touch. A stream of light spread beneath his palms, snaking across the surface and flowing into the woman's trembling body. Suddenly, images flashed in his mind. Not his own memories, hers. He saw her walking on Earth many years ago, in the body of a young woman who looked almost human. He saw her laughing with someone, A man. A human man. Their hands touched, their hearts beating in rhythm. Then he saw fire, fear, running, hiding. She carried the boy as a baby, fleeing into the dark. Carter gasped, ripping his hands away. His heart pounded like a drum. He looked at the boy, his voice unsteady. "Your mother, she loved a human, didn't she?" The child's glowing eyes widened, and tears slid down his cheeks. He nodded silently. Carter's legs felt weak. The boy's words from earlier echoed in his mind. You carried the same presence. Could it be? Was he somehow connected to that man from her memories? Before he could think further, the hunters' voices grew louder. They were at the entrance now, their tall, dark forms moving closer. Their glowing eyes fixed on Carter, their faces twisted with hate. The boy cried out, "Hurry! They'll kill us all!" Carter forced himself to steady his hands and pressed them. Back against the pod, this time he didn't pull away. He focused, letting the strange warmth flow through him into her. His body shook as if some energy was being pulled from his veins. The alien woman's convulsions slowed slightly. Her breathing grew steadier. Her eyes opened again, and for the first time, she truly looked at him. A whisper formed on her lips. Not sound, but thought. Human. Lifeline. Carter nearly collapsed. He was drained, his head spinning, sweat dripping from his brow. He could feel his own strength being stolen, transferred. The boy shouted with joy. "It's working. Don't stop." But Carter's vision blurred. Quote, he staggered, barely holding himself upright. "If I keep going, I'll..." The hunters entered the chamber, their voices sharp and furious. One of them raised a weapon that glowed with red light. Carter froze, his hands still against the pod. If he pulled away, the woman would slip back into chaos. If he stayed, the hunters might kill him. The boy leaped in front of him, arms wide. No, he is saving her. Don't hurt him. The hunters hesitated, their glowing eyes narrowing. One of them hissed, their voice like knives scraping stone. He is human. He does not belong here. Carter felt the woman's trembling ease under his palms. Her face softened, her human-like eyes locked onto his, filled with something strange recognition. The boy shouted at the hunters, his voice breaking with desperation. He is her lifeline. Without him, she will die. For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Only the hum of machines and Carter's ragged breathing echoed through the air. Then the woman inside the pod whispered one word into his mind, stronger this time. Stay. Carter's heart thundered. The hunters stepped closer, their weapons glowing brighter. The boy clung to his sleeve, terrified. Dr. Carter stood trapped between two choices: run and live, or stay and risk everything to save her. And for the first time in his life, he realized his choice would decide not only her fate, but perhaps the fate of both species. The human connection, the chamber glowed with an eerie light. The hunters stood at the entrance, their weapons raised, their glowing eyes fixed on the intruder, the human. Dr. Carter's palms were still pressed to the pod, strength slipping away as energy flowed from him into the trembling woman inside. Her body was no longer thrashing wildly. The violent shaking had slowed, though her form still shifted, one moment alien, the next disturbingly human. She gazed at Carter with weak but steady eyes. For a moment, the hunters themselves faltered. The boy's voice rang out, desperate. "Look at her. She is healing. Can't you see? He is saving her." The hunters growled, their voices sharp and heavy with anger. One of them hissed in their strange tongue before speaking in broken human words. This should not be. Human blood. Weak blood. It must end. Carter's chest tightened. He could feel his pulse slowing, his breath coming shorter. His body was weakening. But in the woman's eyes, he saw something else: memory, recognition, a silent story past. Into him with every second he touched her. Suddenly, his mind filled with visions. Not his own, but hers. He saw her long ago, walking among humans in a body that looked almost completely human. She had hidden her alien nature, living quietly in a small village. She laughed with a man, strong, kind, with eyes full of warmth. A human man. They loved each other deeply, their bond more powerful than any barrier of worlds. But their love came at a cost. When her true nature was discovered, she was hunted. The man sacrificed himself to protect her. She fled into the shadows, carrying their child, this boy who now stood beside him. The vision ended, and Carter gasped, stumbling back from the pod. His head spun, his knees weak. The boy grabbed his arm, frightened. "What did you see?" Carter's voice cracked. "I saw her past. She loved a human. Your father." His words trailed off as the truth sank deeper. The boy's glowing eyes widened. "You saw him? My father." Carter nodded slowly. His throat felt dry. "Yes, he gave his life for her. For you." The boy's face twisted with grief and pride. "I always knew. She told me pieces, but never all. She said humans carried something inside them that we cannot. Something strong, something alive." Carter stared at the woman inside the pod. Her body. It's fighting because she carries both worlds, human and alien. That's why she shakes. That's why she's dying. The boy nodded. "Without balance, she cannot survive. But with you, she can." Carter's mind reeled. Why him? Why now? He was just a lonely doctor who had lost everything. Why should he be the one? But deep down, he already knew the answer. It wasn't just about medicine or healing. It was about connection. Her eyes met his again. And he heard her voice, not out loud, but in his head, soft and trembling. "You are? Like him, you carry the same light." Carter's chest tightened painfully. The memories of her human lover mixed with her gaze on him, as if she saw both men at once. His heart raced. Was it possible? Did he truly share the same bond? The hunters stepped forward, their weapons glowing hotter. One of them snarled, "She is cursed. The human line is poison. End it now." The boy rushed in front of Carter, spreading his small arms wide. "No, he is her lifeline. If you kill him, you kill her too." The hunters hesitated. Their glowing eyes flickered with uncertainty. They could see the truth. The woman's body was slowly calming. Her trembling had lessened under Carter's touch, but their hatred burned deep. Carter drew in a shaky breath. He turned to the boy. "If I keep helping her, it could kill me." The boy's face crumpled, tears streaming down his glowing cheeks. "Please, don't stop. She is all I have. If she dies, I have no one left." Carter's heart ached. The child's voice carried the same desperation he had heard at his door, the same plea that had pulled him into this nightmare. And he knew no matter the cost, he couldn't walk away. He pressed his hand back against the crystal. Energy surged again, but this time it felt different. Not just draining. It felt connected. Flashes filled his mind once more. He saw the human man again, the one she had loved. But this time, the vision lingered on his face. And in the reflection of the man's eyes, Carter saw something terrifying himself. He staggered. Could it be? Was the bond between them more than coincidence? The woman's voice whispered into his mind again. "You carry his blood, his line, his heart." Carter's world tilted. His father, could it be? His father had died when he was a child. His mother had spoken little of him. Could his own bloodline be tied to this woman's past? The truth struck him like thunder. The connection was not random. He wasn't chosen by chance. He was connected by blood, by family. The woman inside the pod looked at him with soft eyes, filled with recognition and sorrow. She trembled once more, but her shaking was easing. The boy gasped, his voice breaking with joy. "You see, she knows you. She knows you are part of him." Carter's breath shook, his heart raced. Everything he thought he knew about himself was shattering. He wasn't just a lonely doctor. He was tied to something ancient, something hidden. Something that crossed the stars. The hunters growled, stepping closer. Their weapons glowed like molten fire. The boy shouted, voice trembling with fear. "If you want her dead, you will have to kill him too." The hunters stopped, their glowing eyes burning with conflict. The chamber filled with silence, broken only by the soft hum of the pod and Carter's ragged breathing. The alien mother whispered into his mind one final time, "You are his son." My lifeline and hers. Carter's knees nearly gave way. He clutched the pod for balance. His father, her lover. The boy's human bloodline. It was all connected, and for the first time, Carter realized the truth. He wasn't here by accident. He was here because fate had tied him to this family long before he even knew they existed. The dangerous choice, the air inside the chamber, grew heavier. The hunters stood at the entrance like shadows made of steel, their weapons glowing red with deadly light. The boy pressed himself close to the crystal pod, shielding his mother with his small frame. Dr. Carter stood beside him, his chest heaving, his palms still flat against the shimmering surface of the pod. The alien woman's shaking had slowed, but her body was still unstable, flickering between alien and human. Her weak eyes looked at Carter with a silent plea. Inside his head, her voice trembled like a fading heartbeat. "Don't leave me. Stay." Carter's throat tightened. He knew what it meant. If he stayed, if he kept holding on, his own life could be drained away. But if he walked away, she would die. The boy would lose everything. The hunters spoke again, their voices sharp and bitter. "This is wrong. Human blood is poison. End him now, and she will rest." The boy screamed, his voice cracking with tears. "No. He is saving her. Don't you see? Without him, she will die." The hunters stepped closer. Carter could feel the heat from their weapons pulsing against his skin. He was out of time. He turned to the boy, his voice low but steady. "If I give her everything, I may not survive." The child grabbed his hand, holding it tight against the crystal. His glowing eyes filled with tears. "Please, don't let her die. If you leave us, I will have nothing." The words stabbed through Carter's heart. For so long, his own life had been empty, quiet halls, cold meals, endless books. He had no family, no laughter, no warmth. But now, in this strange chamber beneath the earth, a child was looking at him as if he were the only hope left in the universe. He looked into the boy's eyes and saw not just desperation, but trust. Pure, unshakable trust. His hands shook as he whispered, "I don't want to die." The boy squeezed harder. "Then, live through her. If she lives, you live too." The hunters hissed in anger. One raised its weapon, preparing to strike. But the alien woman's body suddenly flared with light, as if sensing the danger. The glow from the pod grew brighter, pushing the hunters back a step. Her voice echoed in Carter's head, stronger than before. "Lifeline? Only you." Carter's body trembled. He was afraid, more afraid than he had ever been. But he knew he couldn't turn away. He had been given a choice, and once in his life, the choice mattered. He pressed both palms firmly against the pod. The crystal pulsed, wrapping his hands in golden light. A surge of energy rushed into him, searing his veins, burning through his chest. He gasped, his body convulsing as if the shaking disease was crawling into him. The boy shouted, "Stay with her! Don't let go!" Carter gritted his teeth, sweat pouring down his face. His heart pounded like it was about to burst. He saw flashes of the woman's memories again, her love, her loss, her endless pain. And then he saw his father, smiling, holding her hand. His father's voice echoed in his mind. "Protect her. She carries our future." Tears blurred Carter's vision. He realized the truth: this wasn't just her fight. It was his too. His bloodline, his family, his hidden legacy. The hunters roared in fury. One lunged forward, weapon raised high. The boy screamed, but before the strike could land, the pod flared with blinding light. A wave of energy burst outward, knocking the hunters to the ground. Carter cried out, his body shaking violently as the light poured from him into her. His knees buckled, but he held on, refusing to let go. "Please," he gasped, "live." Inside the pod, the woman's trembling slowed. Her form stabilized, her human features settling over her alien ones like two worlds finally finding balance. Her breathing steadied, her chest rising and falling with rhythm. The boy's eyes widened. "It's working. She's coming back." But Carter could feel his own strength draining fast. His vision darkened, his heartbeat slowing. It was as if his very soul was being pulled from him. He collapsed to his knees, still pressing his hands against the pod. His voice cracked, weak but determined. "If this is my end, at least I won't die alone." The boy cried out, clinging to his arm. "No, you can't die. Please, fight." The woman's eyes opened fully now. They glowed with a soft, human warmth. She looked at Carter, tears glistening in her gaze. Her voice whispered inside him, but this time it was filled with strength. "Not your end, our beginning." A final surge of energy pulsed between them. The crystal pod cracked, splitting open with a sound like thunder. Light poured out, flooding the chamber. The hunters shielded their eyes, snarling in rage. Carter collapsed forward, his body weak and trembling. He expected death, silence, nothingness. But instead, warmth spread through his chest. A new rhythm beat inside him, two heartbeats, his and hers. Joined together, the alien woman rose slowly from the broken pod, her body stable at last. She was taller than Carter, her skin pale but glowing, her form both alien and human, perfectly balanced. She reached down and touched his face gently. "Lifeline," she whispered with real words now. Her voice soft and filled with gratitude. Carter's eyes fluttered open, his breath ragged. Somehow, against all odds, he was alive. Changed, but alive. The boy sobbed with relief, throwing his arms around his mother. "You're back. You're alive." But Carter's relief was short-lived. The hunters rose again, furious, their weapons blazing with deadly light. The woman turned to them, her eyes glowing with a new power. She stood tall, steady, no longer broken. For the first time, Carter saw her not as a patient, not as a victim, but as a force alive, strong, unshakable. And as she faced the hunters, she whispered to Carter without turning her head, "Your choice saved us. But now a greater choice is coming." Carter's heart pounded. He didn't know what she meant, but deep inside, he understood one thing: his journey was far from over. The resolution, the chamber glowed with fractured light from the broken pod. Steam curled upward, shimmering in the air. The alien woman stood tall now, no longer trembling. Her body balanced between two forms, alien grace and human warmth. Her eyes glowed faintly. Yet there was something undeniably human in them too. Dr. Carter lay weak on the floor, his chest heaving. He felt as though fire and ice both burned inside him, his veins alive with something new. Every breath was heavy, but every beat of his heart carried a strange rhythm as if it no longer belonged to him alone. The boy clung to his mother, his small face pressed against her waist. "You're alive. You're really alive." The woman smiled faintly, brushing her hand across his hair. Then her gaze shifted to Carter. Her eyes softened, filled with gratitude. "Because of him," she said, her voice steady but quiet. Carter tried to push himself up, his arms shaking. I didn't think I'd survive." The woman knelt beside him, touching his cheek gently. Her touch was warm, almost electric. "You gave me part of yourself. Now we are linked. You are not only my healer, you are my lifeline." Carter's chest tightened. He wanted to feel relief, but instead he felt fear. Deep inside, he knew something had changed forever. The hunters stirred at the far side of the chamber, rising. Slowly, their glowing weapons hummed with rage, but they hesitated. The woman turned to face them, her body glowing faintly with new power. One of the hunters snarled, their voice sharp and bitter. "This should not be. She carries poison." "Human. Blood corrupts." The woman's voice grew firm, unshakable. "Human blood saved me. Human will gave me balance. If not for him, I would be gone." The hunters shifted uneasily. Their glowing eyes darted between her steady form and Carter's weakened body. Carter forced himself upright, leaning against the pod's remains. His voice cracked but carried conviction. "You call it poison, but what you fear is truth. Humans and your kind are not meant to destroy each other. We're meant to connect." The chamber fell silent. The boy's wide eyes darted between the hunters and Carter, hope trembling in his small frame. One hunter growled low, stepping forward. But the woman raised her hand, and the air vibrated with power. The crystals around the chamber pulsed, as if answering her command. "You see my body," she said, her voice echoing. "You see the balance I now hold. Alien and human, not broken, not cursed, whole." The hunters faltered. Their weapons dimmed slightly. One muttered in their tongue, uncertain, while another hissed in doubt. The boy squeezed his mother's hand. "Please, don't fight anymore." He saved her. He can save more. Carter's eyes narrowed. "Or, if you kill us now, you prove your fear is stronger than your wisdom." The hunter stared at him. For a long moment, no one moved. Then slowly, the tallest hunter lowered his weapon. His voice was cold, but tinged with reluctant respect. "This human, he is not ordinary. For now, we will not strike. But know this, the others will not forgive. They will hunt you all." With that, the hunters faded back into the corridor, their glowing forms disappearing into shadow. Carter exhaled, shakily, his body nearly collapsing. Relief washed over him, but only for a moment. His heart still beat strangely. Two rhythms pulsing together as if he carried more than his own life inside him. The woman helped him stand. Her touch was steady, strong. "You risked yourself when you could have walked away. You carry his blood, his spirit. That is why you lived." Carter's mind spun. His father, the human man from her memories. The truth still burned inside him. He wasn't just a doctor who stumbled into this. He was part of her past, part of her future. The boy looked at him with shining eyes. "Does this mean your family?" Carter froze. Family, a word he hadn't used in years. His parents were gone. His life had been empty for so long. And now, standing in this hidden chamber, two beings looked at him not with suspicion or hatred, but with hope. "I don't know," Carter admitted softly. "But maybe. Yes, maybe I am. The boy smiled for the first time, a real smile that carried both innocence and relief. But before warmth could settle, the woman's expression darkened. She turned toward the tunnel where the hunters had gone. They will return, and next time they will bring more. Carter's stomach twisted. So what now? What happens to us? The woman's gaze shifted back to him, steady and unblinking. You have changed. My sickness passed into you, but you did not break. Instead, you became more. Carter stiffened. More? What do you mean? Her hand rested on his chest, right over his racing heart. You carry both now, human and alien. That makes you a bridge. It's a lifeline not only for me, but for both our worlds. Carter's breath caught. He shook his head. I'm no savior. I'm just a man. Her eyes glowed softly. No, you are more, and soon you will see it. The boy clutched his mother's arm, his voice small but urgent. Can we trust him, truly? She looked down at her son, then back at Carter. We have no choice. Without him, we are already lost. The chamber fell silent. The machines hummed, the crystals pulsed, and in the quiet, Carter realized something terrifying. His life was no longer his own. He had come here as a doctor. He was leaving as something else, something in between human and alien, carrying a bond that could not be broken. As the boy hugged his mother tightly, Carter stepped back, staring at his trembling hands. They glowed faintly in the dim light. Not bright, not obvious, but unmistakable. A chill ran through him. His voice was barely a whisper. What have I become? The woman's answer was calm, almost sorrowful. Our future. The chamber darkened as the crystals dimmed, leaving only their three silhouettes. And though the battle was over, Carter knew this was not the end. It was only the beginning.